So hello everyone, it is Tuesday, October 29th, and we are here together to do our 3-card reading and see if we can find out what's going on in the universe collectively for everyone this evening and see what is brewing as far as that goes. So I will show the cards at the end. If you want to be in the reading, you cannot be in the reading. My dog is trying to get on stage here, trying to be a live performer. I will show you the cards at the end and we'll discuss what they mean authentically in the tarot, but I like to read them intuitively. So the first card that we pulled today is the Three of Pentacles. And what we see here in this card is a humbling experience for somebody having to put aside wow, I already just got such a switch of energy on this card. We see this image of two people being brought together, and it's almost like they're presenting something to an apprentice, if you will. Almost like they're going to a judge or a priest for some advice. And the energy that it turned into as soon as I turned it over was the energy of someone having to put aside all of their experiences about life and their way. You know, when you have a certain way of thinking, you think the same way all the time about multiple things, right? So let's say that you are an electrician, and everything you've ever done when you enter into someone's house, you give them the white glove service, you know, maybe put some little booty covers on top of your shoes so that you're not tracking dirt into their house. You introduce yourself to the homeowner. You ask them to show you the circuit breaker. You go downstairs, you shut the circuit breaker off. You ask them what area of the home are they working on. And then you get ready to start testing your switches. This humbling experience would be you having to put all of your experience aside, everything that you've ever known. You show up at the door and you're no longer the master electrician. You are, in a sense, an inexperienced apprentice showing up for the first time with brand new eyes. Not because you don't have the experience, because we know if you're showing up for the job, you've come with a great deal of experience, but because this is treating this new circumstance with kid gloves. Maybe the homeowner is somebody who was a retired master electrician himself and he just can't do the work anymore because of his eyesight, whatever the case might be. I'm just giving you an example as a scenario. So you show up and you're, you know, kind of moving through the home with the experience that you have, but looking at it as though you've never done this type of work before. You have a fresh pair of eyes, you have a very open pair of ears, and you're listening to the advice of this homeowner. So this, in a sense, is you showing up with a story, experience. You've been through this before, but you're showing up now asking someone to show you a new way of doing things, because whatever it was that you were doing is no longer working for you. So you decide today, maybe, I don't know what number day this is of the year, but let's say today is the 372nd day of the year. No, 352nd day of the year. And, you know, you're so used to showing up as the same person 365 days out of the year. But today at 352, you have to show up as a totally different person. Meaning you can't keep moving through life with the same mindset and the same mentality. Otherwise, you're never going to grow. So you show up and you try and learn and you try and listen for an opportunity to gain insight into a part of the world that you've already known, but just in a way that you're doing things differently. So this card is, you know, coming forward with experience, but kind of tucking that aside so that someone can teach you something that you may already know, but they're teaching it to you for a reason. You need to hear it through their viewpoint or their way of explanation. Okay? The second card that we pulled is a Major Arcana card, which is interesting because it's number 3 in the Major Arcana. It's called the Empress. And the Empress is all about rebirthing through beauty, finding beauty in things that you never could find beauty in before, seeing things again through a new mindset, a new viewpoint, a new vantage point. Here we see this image of this maiden almost sitting back in this very passionate position where she feels that everything is just so simple. Anything that she can attain, that she wants to attain, is right at her fingertips. And we see this very beautiful, abundant, fruitful woman. You know, sometimes we see her as like a pregnant woman, or we see her as like birthing something new. Almost like a young mistress or something. Not necessarily a mistress, I'm just using that as an example. She feels that everything is attainable and within her reach. Things come to her easy. She has a magnetic personality, so people are drawn to her. But she's in a quiet space right now where she's kind of sitting back and she's in a more reserved position. Maybe in the past she was more showy and external and outward, and now for whatever reason she's more inward and internal and subdued and just watching everything that goes on around her so that she can learn through this new insight and this new education and gain that knowledge so that she can move forward with like a new level of education. You know, it's kind of like I'm getting this weird image of like how people portrayed Marilyn Monroe, right? They portrayed her as like someone who wasn't intelligent, someone who was naive, and she used her beauty and her sex appeal to get the things that she wanted in life. The image that I'm seeing on this card is very much like that, like utilizing aspects of yourself to get what you need, but more here than the sex appeal, right? But now, for whatever reason, even though that's always been the way that this card has been shown, that this is the way she's maneuvered, for whatever reason, she's now sitting back and she's just observing everything because, you know, maybe people thought she wasn't intelligent, or that she wasn't going to be successful, or that she couldn't accomplish some of the things that she's accomplished. And now she's just sitting back and taking it all in, which is actually making her even more intelligent. Because sometimes we do so much talking, all we're really doing is revealing our level of intelligence. And yes, many of us are much deeper on a grander scale. But if you tell everything about yourself all in the beginning, there's nothing left to know about. So she has chosen to sit back and stay in this position of being reserved so that somebody doesn't see the whole story to her. They don't see her entire side. And she's leaving some interest for mystery. So that, you know, maybe her gentleman callers or lady callers, because it could be a male or a female, will be more intrigued with her. Like, oh, why doesn't she want me? Why is she not being so showy and forward and saying that she wants to be with me? She's sitting back and she wants me to come to her. You know, she's very wise. She's not necessarily playing a game, but if there was a game to be played, she's playing it very wisely, very cautiously. Hey, good looking. The third card we pulled is the Two of Wands. I'm so sorry, she is trying so hard to say hi. I'm just going to let her say hi. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Say hello. Okay. The third card is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is about bridging the gap between where you are now. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I've been gone all day from her. Bridging the gap from where you are now to where you want to be. So for many of us, anytime that we are in the space of wanting to move forward or accomplish something in our lives, well, actually, this is not always true for every person. You know, people are very different. So for some of us, it's we sit back, we take everything into perspective, and we think about how we're going to get from here to there. For other people, they just put on blinders. They don't pay attention to anything else. They just move full steam ahead. Bless you, baby. Excuse me. They just move full steam ahead. And they don't even think about the space in between here and there. They just go. There's like sport mode, if you will, like in the car when you put the car in sport mode. And then for others, it's all about, when is it going to happen? When will my arrival date be? When will my departure date be? When will my expectancy be? Like all this fear-based thinking. How can I get this done? Why should I do it? You know, it's like all this second guessing. This card is kind of the resolution for all three of those ways of thinking. It's about becoming clear on not what it's going to take or what you're leaving behind here and what you're going to accomplish when you get there. This person is saying everything in between these two spaces is important. It's not allowing ourselves to live in fear, in thinking, what did I leave back there? And what am I going to gain when I show up here? What about the journey in itself? What about the bridge and the space between these two places? What about that? Let's enjoy that time and that space and be here in the now so that I can appreciate where I was there. And I'm not even going to worry about what I'm doing when I'm over here. I just know that eventually I'll be there, and when I am there, I'll appreciate that as well. But I appreciate the opportunity of just being in the space and in that shift and trying to remind yourself to stay engaged and aware in that energy, in that vortex of being in alignment. The universe is showing you. You don't have to manifest everything anymore. You don't have to write it down and say, I want to move forward. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, yeah, that's great. I've been doing that for years. I've been doing that for decades. But what if you take a new approach? What if you just say, thank you for letting me wake up today. Thank you for letting me be present today on Tuesday, October 29th. Show me what you want me to do today. Show me whose life I'm supposed to touch today. Show me whose life I'm supposed to walk away from today. Show me if today is the day that I focus on myself. I surrender. I am just here because you created me. And obviously I wasn't in control of that destiny, right? I didn't get to choose if I was going to be a bird or a cat or a dog or a male or a woman. I just trusted. My soul that incarnated as this physical body trusted. So what about while we're in this physical body? Why do we choose to try and be in control of everything all the time? What if we just stay in the space of surrendering that there is something better for us, and we just accept and we just be, and we don't worry about anything else? Because I assure you, when you think of it, you think of yourself as coming into this world as an infant, because your physical body is an infant, yes? But your soul was never an infant. Your soul was infinite, right? It just chose to arrive in this house, in this body, with this white shirt and these red sweatpants. So when we came in with this infinite energy as an infant, we didn't say before we, came out of the womb, but what if this, and but what if that, and what about what I'm leaving behind, and what about what I'm going to do later when I grow up from being an infant? No. We came out of the womb, we looked our mom in the eye, we recognized our souls were connected, even if for only a moment. I mean, there's so many stories out there between children and their mamas, right? Some last a moment. Some last a lifetime. But we look up to our mama's eyes and we trust the journey. We trust that we were brought into this life and incarnated into this experience. So what if we stop worrying about the end results and the beginning, and we just start living for the moment? And that's what this card is about. The Two of Wands is about being completely aware in the moment, residing in the space and surrendering. And I have been on this movement of surrendering for weeks now. I don't know if you follow me on my personal page, but I have just been trying so hard to not manifest my destiny anymore. I keep saying, whatever the universe wants for me, I will accept it. And then I notice sometimes in the daily grind, we lose sight of that. And I'm guilty of that. I try and, fix my friend's problems and fix my friend's problems and fix my problems, or whatever the case might be, right? Because I forget sometimes. I go back into that space of trying to control everything or trying to manifest everything to be fixed. And then I forget to surrender. But there is some things that you have to acknowledge during the process of surrendering. Yes, it's great to surrender and to not try and be in control and manifest everything all the time. But you still also have to heal from whatever it was that you went through during that process of surrendering that may not have worked for you. But because you acknowledged that you were going to stay in the space of surrendering, maybe things didn't go the right way for you, but because you were going with that flow and the ebb and flow, maybe you slipped up a little bit and it stung. You were like, ouch, that hurt. So you still heal as you're moving forward, but you don't give up and you don't lose sight of it. So that is really this card this evening. So let's just recap what we pulled. The first card is the Three of Pentacles. The second card is the Empress, mind you, all and forward facing. And the third card is the Two of Wands. So to my YouTube community, I thank you for logging on this evening. I try and hop on about 5 or 6 nights a week to do a simple 3-card reading on the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. If you want to follow us on our Instagram page, it is Breathe Inspiring Gifts. I thank you all for logging onto our YouTube channel, and we'll see you soon.